Hi, how's it going? This is Resident of Collinwood for YouTube. I'm here to review To Benight Beguile, Book 7, Chapter 7, A Day in the Village. So, this starts off with Jacob and Celeste at the Gramercy Cafe, and as you have people looking at them, but they're not just looking at them. You have um, the mayor approaching, you have Baxter Murphy, and you have the witchcraft lawyer, in a sense, or lawyer who's famous for going after that sort of thing, approaching. And I really enjoyed this interaction here because Jacob is basically telling you have nothing. And any sane judge is going to tell you have nothing. Gossipy newspaper is not evidence. And he's right. I mean, when it comes to Evie, especially, and Matthew, they have no evidence. And that's what. And Jacob said it'll never get to opening arguments, and that lets me know that Jacob has a plan, because though Jacob is not friends with Evie or doesn't really doesn't necessarily like her, the one thing he cannot afford publicly is scandal of the Lord name. And this is what's basically happening with this trial. Because at least in every way, all three are associated with the Lords in a way. Matthew was in love with Evie. Evie was married to Sebastian, has Sebastian's son, and is the mother of Gabriel. And Mary, who is the mother of Charlotte, Jacob and Mary's daughter. So Jacob knows he can't afford to let this happen. Not just for his sake, but for the Lord's sake. Not that Lord, not the one in heaven. The family's name. So he has something in mind, but he also hears out Celeste say that, hey, this whole Miss Daniel Holton, she's, I believe she's Caspian's daughter, and she has if he has a family, he's married, that sort of absolves your mother and his marriage, that gets our money back. And he goes, well, you handle that. And the reason Jacob's not going to really handle this is because he has other things he's going to handle, like this trial. Because you got to understand, in a way, if they're incriminated, the Lords are incriminated. And that's, to me, again, this is just my opinion, that's Jacob's stance, I think. If I'm reading this correctly, I read this twice today. So you have Charlotte, Morgan, and Christopher and Genevieve are at the park. And Morgan and his mother, Genevieve, have a really heartfelt conversation here. Neither want to leave. Morgan does not want to leave Charlotte. He doesn't want to leave baby Caleb. Remember, Morgan and Charlotte almost kissed, so there's something blooming there. And you also have a great interaction between Charlotte and Christopher, because Charlotte knows that's not Christopher. That's what'd she call him? Uncle. Let's see, sure, that's right. Uncle David. Yeah, that's David Lord. So she knows that's her uncle. That's why don't you come home? There was a great conversation between the two, and you have David / Christopher, who sees Jacob. He wants revenge. He wants now. He doesn't want to wait. But Genevieve, tell him, hey, it'll happen. that Jacob will get his in the end. You'll see. So he has to be a little more patient, though he doesn't want to be. But what I really love, though, too, here is in the course of the conversation, you have Jonathan coming, and he's out of his mind. He is so. The things this man had in what feels like the short time he's experienced of, Jacqueline Gray, him losing his wife, him losing Genevieve, he like begs her for forgiveness, Genevieve's forgiveness. You also have this guy just really has a mindset of Christopher hopes, hey man, I hope you find peace, but it's like Jonathan's so out of it. It's like, will he find peace? It's like, probably not. You also have Caspian and Rebecca talking, and this is Rebecca not wanting to lose Caspian to anybody, whether it was his former life or it's Aurora, who is Evie's mother. She knows Aurora's this beautiful woman, so she's trying to protect her vested interest. And you have I like what you have here, because you have this Jacob and Caspian go to like, okay, let's put our heads together and find out what we can do about this trial. And to my understanding, I don't think anybody knows that Lear's going to represent them, or at least nobody currently. Jacob might not know that. I don't believe he does, from what I read. So, but as they do, when they go out of the room, Jonathan comes in. He's he is a mess, and everybody can see this. And that everybody kind of knew that Jacqueline was no good. I mean, everybody sort of saw through that sort of veil there. And they kind of tell Jonathan that. But what you really have here is two alpha females, Rebecca and Celeste, that a showdown is coming between the two of them, to my understanding, the way I read this. Definitely something is coming. And Rebecca better not take her eyes off Celeste, because Celeste has her sights set on Rebecca and taking her down. The Gothic soap opera here that John has going on, very character driven. You have a lot of characters who have things at stake. The lords have this trial at stake. Jacob sees that. You have, and he's not the only one. Caspian sees it too. Caspian is more, he doesn't want this injustice done to these people. Because he feels that it is an injustice. This is a revenge trial in every way. So it's, how are we going to correct this? How are we going to fix this? You have Celeste focus on taking down Rebecca. You have Rebecca focus on not losing Caspian. You have Daniel Holton, who gets mentioned in this. She's not in this exact chapter, who wants to talk to her father but can't get access. Rebecca does not want Danielle or Aurora around Caspian at all. She's going to do her best to keep them away. And you also have Christopher David Lord, who wants revenge now, and now has to wait. And will he? The question John leaves you with is, will he? And that's very, very intriguing. Listen, really, really great storytelling. I read this twice today. Very, very, very good. Link to Benight and Beguile will be in the description box. Go check it out. It is worth it. You guys have a good day.